I think when you look at the results from a radar perspective across the UK, it's been a fairly buoyant period over the last 3-4 years. It seesaws between the BBC and commercial radio, but I don't think there's many other mediums that have the penetration radio has, and that's something we have to work with. I mean, tell me how many radios you've got in your house.
Probably 4, actually.
Exactly. Everybody's got a radio. Everybody listens to the radio at some time, and it's still the most portable medium. It's been a year of change. Who's going to deny that? I mean, let's be honest. Nobody saw the economic climate in the state it's been in. But has it damaged us? No. Has it made us stronger? I think so. So I would say it's been a very positive year in terms of return against expected return based on what we come into the financial year with. And I'm speaking on behalf of the stations I look after. So I look after Scotland operation and the North East operation. I think that's never changed, and nor should it, because competition, I think, drives excellence to some extent, as long as it's channeled correctly. But what you've got to do is you've got to add value, you've got to offer value, and I think radio per se has to keep driving value. And again, that's not something that's unique to GMG, that's radio the medium, and I've spoken to you off camera before and other times, and I think anybody who knows me knows how passionate I am about radio, and I still think radio's got a long way to go, because we still are one of the most portable mediums, but also we have flexibility with regard to what we can do, for instance, to clients, because you can touch clients with brand development with radio far better than you can with some other medium. That's not to say it's better than other mediums. All I'm saying is it does very well in terms of matching clients' needs. However, it works even harder when it's part of a media mix. I don't think you can deny that the digital proposition that's been developed in radio again per se, and we're at the forefront of that within GMG, have not enhanced the opportunity for a client. Because now what you've got with radio is you've got the visual element. Because you can go online, you can actually review. So when you've got that immediacy and that impact that comes from a radio commercial, for instance, you can follow that up and you can substantiate it with the online presence. So I think it's a very exciting time. And again, it goes back to that media mix element, where you actually work with other mediums. It hasn't changed, it's just evolved. I don't think you have to have a sea change. I think what you have to do is understand and respect and develop. But it's about embracing the best of what was with the best of what can be. It's not all about what can be, and it's not all about what was. You've got to strike a balance. The key word in life is balance, and in business it's no different. Well, there's no other country in the world as an operation like the BBC, so it is unique. And is it a challenge? Of course it is, considering that as a taxpayer I'm paying for something that is effectively advertising against something that earns my livelihood. But it's not really something I really need to get into, what the BBC do and how they operate. As far as I'm concerned, it's what we do that counts. But it is a unique scenario, and even if you take other sectors or spheres of business, where have you got a government or a public funded operation working against the private sector as quickly and as aggressively as they do? Chris who? Chris? I don't know who you're talking about. Chris? I've never heard of him.
Too busy listening to your own breakfast show.
Exactly. Goes back to that word evolution, Stephen. I think we've got to keep looking at delivering great content in a way that people can interact with it and feel part of it. I think we operate real radio here, smooth radio, and as you can see by the hairstyle, rock radio. And I think one of the things that GMG do for radio is offer choice. And I think that's something that radio has to embrace, because if you look at radio in the US or radio even in other parts of Europe, the choice is fairly substantial. I'm not criticising the choice here, but within GMG we get the opportunity to develop content, to develop choice, hence brands like Rock coming on board, Smooth, targeting slightly older demographic, but giving them something that links to their lifestyle. And I think that's very important as well. So when you say development, we'll continually develop, but if you look at what we as a radio operation have achieved in the last 8 years in Scotland, it's been incredible. We've gone from a licence that was underperforming to a licence that delivered the #1 UK regional station, Scotland's #1 commercial station, and off the back of that launched Smooth Radio and Rock Radio, and the first ever centre to operate 3 FM licences once regulation was relaxed. So I think we've changed a hell of a lot internally, and probably, I would wager, externally within the marketplace, and hopefully within Scottish media. I mean, I've been around in the media marketplace for over 20 years now, and I think Real Radio, Smooth and Rock and GMG's input has been good for media. I think if you to take two areas within the UK, i.e. the central belt of Scotland and the northeast of England, the similarities are fairly obvious in terms of the attitude, the psyche, the culture, the history, the tradition. So there's a lot of synergy, but there are unique elements. However, I've got to say I'm revelling in the opportunity to work with both centres, and it's fantastic fun. I don't know if there's so much trends, but I think when you look at what's happened over the last 3-4 years with consolidation, I'm not about to say that that's going to happen, but there's been a lot of change again within radio. I spoke about the change within GMG. There's been an enormous change within radio. So radio is always developing, and it's always looking at ways, with Digital Britain, for instance, and the digital growth and opportunities that exist from 2015 onwards. That's going to shape our future.
Just before the turn of the year, GMG launched in Scotland a job portal. Is that something that you plan to look at to take down south then?
I think everything's up for debate. All we do is we look at developing our properties, developing our platforms, developing the proposition and experience for listener and advertiser, and that's part of it. Whether or not it manifests itself in other stations remains to be seen. It's very much a project at this moment in time.